All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into something really cool, AI thought leadership.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we've got all these materials from Arcana Concept, all about their time at that Level Up AI Summit. Blog posts, we've got like their SEO strategy, even some internal briefings,
Wow, the good stuff.
the really good stuff. And it just seems like everyone's thinking about AI these days, right? So you're clearly ahead of the curve wanting to understand this whole AI revolution that's going on.
Well, and Arcana concept is right in the middle of it all.
That's right. They're at this Level Up AI Summit, and their tagline is Leveling Up Begins Today. So I guess my first question is, what does leveling up with AI even actually look like?
That's a really good question. Because it's not just about the tech itself, right? This summit, it's like a big meeting of the minds, all focused on how AI is going to be integrated into like everything, work our lives, the whole shebang.
Shaping the future of technology and society. That's a pretty bold statement. It's straight from their blog. So what's the overall vibe you're getting from them at this summit? What's their main message?
One thing we see over and over again in these materials is this idea of tech for good. Arcana seems to be pushing this idea that AI should be about more than just profits. It's about making a real positive impact on society.
So less about robots taking over the world and more about using AI to solve some of the world's biggest problems. I like it. Tell me more about this whole tech for good concept.
It's really about using the power of AI to address these challenges that we just haven't been able to solve. Like how to make healthcare more affordable or, finding solutions to global issues.
Right, making a real difference.
Exactly. And they seem really interested in how AI can drive what they call transformative change.
Yeah, they keep using this phrase, deflationary technology age. What does that even mean?
So it's not just about making things cheaper with AI. It's more about using tech to completely change how we access the things we need, making them better and more affordable. Like imagine medical breakthroughs that used to be totally out of reach, or sustainable solutions that actually benefit everyone. And then there's the whole issue of inequality that AI could potentially help address.
It's like AI could level the playing field, make things more equitable. I like that a lot. And, one thing that really stood out to me was how Arcana talks about AI's potential in social services and philanthropy. What could that actually look like?
Okay, so imagine someone needs access to social services, but they're totally lost in the system, right? AI could step in, connect them with the right resources right when they need it, make sure they don't fall through the cracks.
Wow, that's powerful. And it seems like they're really big on partnerships, too. Why is collaboration so important in the AI world?
Because AI solutions are incredibly complex.
Yeah.
You need everyone involved, developers, data scientists, even ethicists and policymakers, the people who are going to be actually impacted by the technology.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about the human element, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I think is really interesting is that Arcana gets that. They're not just partnering with these big tech giants. They're working with startups, corporations, even governments.
It's like they're building this ultimate AI brain trust or something.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
And speaking of their approach, they have this lab studio fund model. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So the L Lab is like their think tank, where they're exploring all these cutting edge AI concepts, things that might seem impossible right now.
So that's where all the what ifs hang out.
Exactly. And then the studio, that's where they take those ideas and turn them into actual solutions.
Okay, so the studio is where the rubber meets the road.
You got it.
And then the FND. I'm guessing this is where the magic happens, financially speaking, of course.
The FUND is all about providing the money to scale up those really promising AI ventures, the ones that could actually make a real difference, the ones that align with those tech for good goals.
So they've created this whole ecosystem from generating those early stage ideas to developing them and then actually getting them out into the world with the funding they need. It's pretty amazing. Pretty smart, if you ask me.
Yeah, it definitely sets them apart.
For sure. And it sounds like it feeds into this big goal they have of shaping the future of AI, right?
Definitely.
And making sure that future is one where AI is a force for good.
Absolutely. Which brings us to, I think, what a lot of people are worried about when they think about AI, the potential downsides, the risks. What is Arcana doing to address those?
Well, with any new technology, there's always the risk of unintended consequences, right? Right. The old, we created this to solve one problem and accidentally created three more scenario.
Exactly. And with AI, it can be tough because these systems can be so complex. You might think you've thought of everything, but then it interacts with the real world in ways you never could have predicted.
It's like that old saying, no plan survives contact with the enemy, except in this case, the enemy is, well, reality itself, I guess.
Yeah, and that's something that Arcana seems very aware of. In their materials, they talk a lot about responsible AI development, really thinking through all the angles before releasing something out into the world.
So it's not just about building the coolest tech, it's about building it thoughtfully, thinking about the impact it could have, like playing chess, almost trying to anticipate the next few moves.
Exactly. And they're not just thinking about the technical side of things either. They're really looking at the societal impact,
Yeah.
the ethics, the long-term consequences.
It's almost like they're trying to see the whole board, not just their own pieces, which makes sense given how powerful AI is becoming. They're definitely taking this responsibility seriously. So we've talked about their vision, their model, their focus on tech for good, but what about some concrete examples? What have they actually done?
One project that really stood out to me was their work on AI-powered disaster relief.
Oh, wow. Tell me more about that.
So they developed this algorithm that analyzes social media data and satellite imagery to help first responders figure out which areas were hit hardest by a natural disaster.
So they can get help to the people who need it most as quickly as possible.
Exactly. It's about using AI to make disaster response smarter and faster.
That's amazing. Talk about using AI for good. Are there any other projects like that in the works?
Oh, yeah. They're also doing some really fascinating work in education.
Hmm.
They developed this AI-powered tutoring platform that gives students personalized learning experiences.
Okay, so that's like taking personalized learning to a whole new level, right?
Exactly. It's about adapting to each student's individual needs and learning style, something that's really tough to do with traditional teaching methods.
It's like giving everyone their own personal tutor. That's incredible. And it really speaks to their commitment to using AI to break down those barriers and create a more equitable future for everyone.
Right. And it's not just about the projects themselves. It's about how they're approaching this whole field. They're constantly experimenting and pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
It sounds like they're not afraid to take risks, but they're doing it responsibly.
Exactly. They're not just focused on the here and now either.
Yeah.
They recently published this white paper on using AI to combat the climate crisis. It's a fascinating read, really forward-thinking.
So they're thinking big picture, trying to tackle those really big problems, and they're doing it all with this tech for good philosophy. It's pretty inspiring. What's next for them? What are their goals for the future?
Well, it looks like their next big move is to build this global consortium of AI for good organizations. They want to bring together the best minds from around the world to collaborate on solutions to some of humanity's biggest challenges.
Wow, a global AI think tank. That's ambitious.
It is, but it's also incredibly exciting. Imagine what we could accomplish if we could harness all that brain power and focus it on things like poverty, hunger, and disease. Those problems that have plagued us for centuries.
That's a future I want to be a part of. So we've covered a lot of ground here. Their vision, their work, their goals for the future. It's clear that Arcana Concept is a company to watch in the AI space. But what does it all mean?
It means we're entering this whole new era of technology, one where AI has the potential to completely change everything.
Yeah.
And Arcana Concept, they're right there on the front lines, pushing for a more human-centered approach to AI. One that's not just about the tech itself, but about the impact it has on people.
They're not just talking the talk, they're actually out there walking the walk. It's really refreshing to see a company like this in this space so focused on using its power for good.
I agree. And they're not just throwing money at the problem either. They're approaching these challenges strategically and thoughtfully, which is really impressive.
It's like they've figured out how to be both innovative and impactful, which is something a lot of companies struggle with. They're not just chasing the next big thing, they're driven by a real sense of purpose.
And it seems like that purpose is resonating. They're attracting amazing talent, building these incredible partnerships. And people are definitely starting to notice.
It's pretty inspiring. They're setting a new standard for what it means to be a leader in the AI industry. It's not just about profits anymore. It's about using this incredibly powerful technology to make the world a better place.
And they're encouraging other companies to do the same. Their message is loud and clear. AI can be a force for good, but it's up to all of us to make sure it's used responsibly and ethically.
It's a call to action for everyone. Whether you're developing AI, investing in it, or just thinking about what it all means, we all have a responsibility to shape this technology in a way that benefits humanity.
Exactly. And that's a message we need to keep hearing.
Well said. This deep dive into Arcana Concept has been incredible. They're a company on a mission, and I'm excited to see what they do next. What about you? What really stood out to you about their approach?
Their focus on tech for good is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found most impressive was their willingness to tackle these huge systemic issues head on. They're not afraid of the big challenges. They're using AI to create a more equitable and sustainable future for everyone. And that gives me hope.
Me too. It's a good reminder that even though AI is complex, its potential for good is real. And that's something worth getting excited about. This has been a great conversation. Until next time, keep exploring those big questions out there.